my music, it's like, look, I was born this way. You know what I mean? This is me. This is what I look like. This is how I act. If you don't like it, you know what I mean? Don't listen to the music. Hi, my name is Chicka Slim Shady. Hi.
Interesting. Eminem.
And the winner is Eminem. My name is
Mr. Controversy, Eminem.
Eminem, yes!
In the ruins of industrial America, where dreams go to die and the forgotten struggle to survive, one voice would rise from the wreckage. But first, it would have to be forged in fire. October 17th, 1972. Marshall Bruce Mathers III enters a world that doesn't want him. Born in St. Joseph, Missouri to a 17-year-old mother, his father abandons the family when Marshall is still in diapers. He would never meet the man. He would never know why. Detroit, the Motor City, once the beating heart of American industry, now a graveyard of broken promises. Young Marshall moves here with his mother Debbie, drifting from one decrepit house to another. 8 Mile Road, the dividing line between Detroit and its suburbs, becomes the border of his universe. On one side, opportunity. On the other, survival. The boy doesn't fit. In predominantly black neighborhoods, he's the white kid, the target, the outsider, beaten, bullied, once knocked unconscious so badly he slips into a coma for over a week. His mother sues the school. They settle, but the damage runs deeper than scars. Home offers no refuge. A volatile relationship with his mother. Poverty that gnaws at everything. Moving constantly, never staying in one school long enough to plant roots. Dropping out of 9th grade after repeating it 3 times. At 15, he discovers the only thing that makes sense in a senseless world. Words, rhymes, rhythm. In the basement of a friend's house, Marshall finds hip-hop, and hip-hop finds Marshall. He adopts a name, Eminem, later stylized as Eminem. In the underground battle rap scene of Detroit, he begins to build something no one can take from him, a reputation. The Shelter, the hip-hop shop, Maurice Malone's clothing store. These are the arenas where Marshall transforms from victim to warrior. But there's a problem. In a predominantly black art form, he's dismissed before he even opens his mouth. He has to be twice as good just to be considered half as worthy. So he becomes 3 times as good, 4 times, 10 times. His flows become sharper, his wordplay more intricate, his delivery more aggressive. He learns that if you can't be accepted, you can be undeniable. And slowly, painfully, he earns respect, battle by battle, bar by bar. But respect doesn't pay rent. Marshall works dead-end jobs. Cook, dishwasher, factory worker. His girlfriend Kim gets pregnant. On December 25th, 1995, his daughter Haley is born. Now he has everything to fight for and everything to lose. 1997, Marshall is 25 years old, broke, unknown outside Detroit, fighting with Kim, working minimum wage. Most people his age are building careers. He's still chasing a dream that feels more like a curse. But he records an EP, Infinite, hoping something will change. It fails. Critics dismiss it. The underground ignores it. He's too mainstream for the underground, too underground for the mainstream. Too white for hip-hop, too hip-hop for white audiences. He doesn't fit anywhere. And in the darkness of that failure, something breaks inside him. Or maybe something is born. From the ashes of rejection, Marshall creates an alter ego. Someone who doesn't care about fitting in. Someone who says the unspeakable. Someone who channels all the rage, all the pain, all the chaos into something the world has never heard before. He calls him Slim Shady. The Slim Shady EP drops in 1997. It's dark, controversial, violent, hilarious, horrifying. It's everything Marshall has been holding inside, unleashed without apology. And somehow, a copy makes its way to Los Angeles, into the hands of a man who would change everything. Dr. Dre, the legendary producer behind NWA, Snoop Dogg, and Tupac. He's heard every rapper in America trying to get his attention. But when he hears Eminem, he hears something different. Raw talent, authentic anger, technical mastery wrapped in chaos. He flies Marshall to Los Angeles. In one of hip-hop's most unlikely partnerships, the white kid from Detroit and the black legend from Compton creates something explosive. The Slim Shady LP drops in February 1999. It sells over 5 million copies. The first single becomes a cultural phenomenon. Marshall Bruce Mathers III is famous. But fame in America is a strange beast. It gives with one hand and takes with the other. Suddenly, Marshall is everywhere. MTV, radio, magazine covers. The white rapper who made it. Except that's never how he saw himself. He was just a rapper who happened to be white. The difference matters. Before we continue this incredible journey, I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you who have subscribed to this channel. Whether you've been here from the beginning or just joined us, your support makes documentaries like this possible. We're building a community of people who appreciate deep storytelling, real history, and the untold chapters of the artists who shaped our culture. To our subscribers, you are the reason we can continue creating content that goes beyond the surface. If you're watching and haven't subscribed yet, join our family. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss our next documentary. We have incredible stories coming your way. Now, let's return to Marshall's story, because what comes next is where the legend truly begins and where the man behind it starts to disappear. The year 2000. The Marshall Mathers LP drops like a bomb on American culture. It sells 1.76 million copies in its first week, the fastest-selling solo album in United States history. But with success comes scrutiny. The lyrics, violent, misogynistic, homophobic by some interpretations, ignite firestorms. Parents' groups protest. Politicians condemn. The Grammy Awards become a battleground. And Marshall? He doesn't back down. He doubles down. Every controversy makes him bigger. Every attack makes him stronger. He's no longer just a rapper. He's a cultural lightning rod. A mirror America doesn't want to look into. He says what people think, but won't say. He breaks every taboo. And millions of fans, especially young, angry, alienated kids, see themselves in him. But there's a cost. His relationship with Kim implodes publicly. Divorce. Reconciliation. Divorce again. His mother sues him for defamation. He battles prescription drug addiction, painkillers, sleeping pills, anything to numb the pressure. The fame he fought so hard for becomes a prison. In 2002, he stars in 8 Mile, a semi-autobiographical film about his come-up in Detroit. It's a critical and commercial success. He wins an Oscar for the film's anthem, but the victory feels hollow because Marshall Mathers is disappearing, consumed by Eminem, overshadowed by Slim Shady. Who is he when the music stops? And then, the music does stop. 2007, overdose. Methadone. His organs begin shutting down. Doctors tell him he was 2 hours away from death. When he wakes up in the hospital, Marshall faces a choice: change or die. For his daughters, Haley, and his adopted children Elena and Whitney, he chooses to change. Rehab, sobriety, the hardest battle he's ever fought, and there's no crowd cheering. No trophy at the end, just the quiet, agonizing work of rebuilding yourself. For years, he's silent. Fans wonder if Eminem is finished, if the drugs took too much, if the legend is over. 2009, Relapse, an album about his addiction and recovery. Then Recovery in 2010. The Marshall Mathers LP2 in 2013. Each album a chapter in his evolution, not just as an artist, but as a human being. Sober, focused, still angry, but with purpose, still technical, but more mature. The boy from Detroit is now a man in his 40s, still dominating a young man's game. And here's what separates Eminem from almost everyone else in hip-hop: fear. Other rappers, legends in their own right, think twice before engaging him. Because Marshall doesn't just respond to disses, he dissects them. He ends careers. His technical ability, his memory, his willingness to say anything. It makes him unpredictable. Dangerous. MGK learned. Ja Rule learned. Benzino learned. You don't poke the bear unless you're prepared for war. Today, Eminem is considered one of the greatest rappers of all time. Over 220 million records sold worldwide. 15 Grammy Awards. An Oscar. Induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Numbers that would make most artists feel validated. But for Marshall, the validation he sought has always been just out of reach. Because the kid who is never accepted, never quite fits in, is now the legend who can't escape his own shadow. He's influenced an entire generation of rappers, white, black, Asian, Latino, proving that hip-hop belongs to anyone with skill and something to say. Yet he still battles the perception that he's an outsider. What makes Eminem's story remarkable isn't just the success, it's the survival. The fact that a poor white kid from a broken home in Detroit could become one of the most influential artists in music history. That he could battle addiction and emerge stronger. That he could be a father, a role model. Even as he plays a villain on records. He still lives in Michigan. Still private. Still guarded. The fame that consumed him in his 20s, he now keeps at arm's length. He's raised his daughters, mentored new artists, built a legacy that extends beyond rhyme schemes and controversy. But perhaps the most important part of Marshall's story isn't what he achieved. It's what he represents. To every kid who doesn't fit in, every person battling addiction, every artist told they'll never make it, Marshall Mathers proves that your circumstances don't define your ceiling. Your demons don't have to destroy you. And the thing that makes you different might be exactly what makes you legendary. They called him trailer trash, a culture vulture, a one-hit wonder. They said he'd never last. They said he'd never be respected. They said he'd die young. They were wrong about all of it, because the boy from 8 Mile didn't just survive. He conquered. And in doing so, he proved something every underdog needs to hear. Your story doesn't end where it begins, unless you let it. This is the story of Marshall Bruce Mathers III, also known as Eminem, also known as Slim Shady, also known as the greatest rapper alive. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, please like, subscribe, and share. We have more untold stories coming soon. Until then, stay curious.